I run a $15 million real estate company, and AI has completely transformed how we run things every day, from property management to the customer journey, to the sales team, to the operations, and to our scaling roadmap, which has never been clearer. My name is Mark Kentwell, and I've built 2 8-figure companies. I advise a portfolio of over $120 million in private equity. I'm not here to sell you AI tools. I'm going to show you exactly what's working inside my company right now. Maybe that resonates with you. Whether you're real estate or not, I guarantee there's going to be something here for you. So stick around. I'm just deliberately making this value. I don't gatekeep this shit. I hand it out and the universe just delivers it back. Even if it's just me getting clear on what works and what doesn't, hopefully that's going to happen for you. So here's what we're going to be covering. First, I'm going to cover the AI tools that I use every single day. Then the results we've already seen, including a $5 to $10 million ROI already. And finally, what I would do if I was starting from scratch today. So let's get into it. Now, my first experience with programmable intelligence goes back way before I was in real estate or even business for that matter. I come from an engineering and trade background, and I used to program these things called PLCs, programmable logic controllers. So basically, you're working out the things that you want to do in advance, and then you kind of figure the and/or paths that it could go on, or if something external happens, how it's going to respond. So like that's a more predetermined set of paths, and it can go infinite. Like the really big PLC circuits, they almost work like large language models. So it's part of the reason I think I've adapted very well to this. I'm also a massive systems guy. When I got into real estate, I was just blown away how unsophisticated it was when 66% of Australia's wealth is held in property. There's a lot up for grabs. And I just couldn't believe that people getting around with palm cards, like literally writing things out on handwritten notes when there's confidential client information and big decisions that were just floating around in verbal conversations. And I thought there's got to be a better way than this. Now, I'm hearing you already saying, what the hell has this got to do with me? Every single business, think about it. Where's the inefficiency today? What shocks you or surprises you about how dumb it seems in the way that we do some roles? Or if you've had a service experience recently, whether it's at a cafe, whether it's at a doctor's surgery, whether it's trying to buy something, you think, surely we can do better than that. And if you just compare taxis to Ubers, I don't even need to finish that paragraph. So my first real estate experience with AI wasn't using ChatGPT when it came out in late 2022. It was actually when I was advising PyLab Capital, which I'm an early stage investor in. They bought predominantly property technology and property services companies that surrounded the real estate industry. And I was pulled in because I kind of think the way I've just told you. We had 3 types of software that were making the real estate process dramatically more efficient. And 2 of them were based on the client acquisition process or identifying more people that could be next to buy or next to sell. Now, the one I'll focus on here, just to give you the example, is Rita. Rita was by a company called Get Air, which basically means Get AI for real estate. Now, Rita was this little chatbot that used to have conversations with people on the database that agents or property managers or leasing staff probably should have been having, but we know that their jobs are just so full of this backwards and forwards that they just weren't getting to it. So we found a way with Reader to actually make it so it can measure how much business you were missing that was already in your database. And it was heartbreaking. Like, it was not uncommon for us to go into a business and they were bleeding $1 million a month in commissions. Same businesses that were just hitting their sales targets. Now, when I say bleeding $1 million in a month, it's not like they signed it up and then they lost the client. They just never signed the client in the first place. They'd already had them in there with their address, their details. They'd even serviced them in some way, usually in a buyer journey, and ignored them, like a good chunk of the Australian real estate industry unfortunately still do, but the smart ones are heading there. And it would just like go out and have conversations like, hey, you're still looking for a property, which you'd think an agent would be doing, but they just do that on the phone or a door knock, but you just can't get there en masse. It would also lead score them based on other activities that were going on. The other one was active pipe. Now, if you're in our industry, you might have heard these terms, but it doesn't actually matter whether you have or not. These exist in nearly every industry: hairdressing, recruitment, the list goes on. So I'm disclosing I had an investment in that. I think I've already said that. But I was able to advise them a little bit on their sales process and how they can explain the value, because it needs to be part of something major to get them to pay something little. But I really had fun programming this thing to have conversations, and you had to update the conversations a lot based on what was happening in the market at the time. And you don't want to be saying oh, it's a hot market out there right now, you really should sell, and the person you're having a conversation with is a buyer. So it was quite nuanced in the way you had to get it to speak, because it didn't have a large language model under it, even though it was starting to become available when we were still in the journey. It didn't have a large language model. Think of ChatGPT as a large language model, or Gemini as a large language model, or Claude as a large language model. It didn't have that underneath it to sort of process all of the type of conversations and the real-time or near real-time data going on out there in the market. So it did require a bit of attention. And the agencies around Australia that managed to kind of provision it well got huge results. A lot of people just bought it. They saw a couple of examples when it first went out, got a couple of listing appointments, said, oh, this is great, and then didn't touch it again. And then they started getting less results. And then even internally, I had agents complaining that Rita was texting all these people. Who the hell is Rita? And it wasn't even a person. It was a bot, and had a little made with love by Rita and a heart symbol in there. Now, that co-founder of Rita, I'll get to that in the tools I'm currently using. I'm working with them again, and I've invested again. I'm just getting all the disclosures out of the way. And like I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you my involvement in this. It's been for a while. So here's the problem I was trying to solve by bringing in Rita. Now, I have, from the start of being in business, employed people to give better service to buyers in particular, because they get dreadfully treated by sell-side agencies or owner-side agencies in Australia. And I'm not calling shit on my colleagues in the industry here. I call them colleagues rather than competitors now, because doctors call each other colleagues. It doesn't mean you don't have a competing practice. It doesn't mean you're not competing for the same clientele or customer love, but they are colleagues. Whether they do business well or not, they're still colleagues. I would employ tens of people to make outbound phone calls. And what were the big challenges? Or do inbound phone calls and kind of triage them and set them on a journey. And it would take a fair bit of labor, especially considering they're not paying directly, and you don't really need to do that. But what was really challenging, particularly early on when CRM software databases weren't that great, is the amount of sheer data processing that would need to happen. You get inquiries from realestate.com, from domain, from the phone, lots of phones, walk-ins back then, the newspaper, believe it or not. I opened in 2005, and what I had identified is that even if you're really good at this stuff, there's so much data. And then we had these open house books that we used to get a lot more information on. But someone had to type that in. So we'd have screenshots getting sent to an offshore team that was really meaningful work for them. They were happy with it initially, but then over time it becomes mindless. Even if they're more affordable labor, and even if it's helping them have a better life, they still wanted to ascend in their career, but I would have to constantly be bringing more people in to replace the people that wanted to go into another role, usually within our organizational structure or the white label company I had. But really, they didn't really want to be entering data their whole life. It was more a job security thing to get them around. Sort of like how people get on reception to get themselves in the door, but they don't want to stay there. There's not many people who want to stay on reception. So we were leaking opportunities everywhere. Rita absolutely solved that. Now, we ended up selling Rita with PyLab and the founders, of course, to a massive company called CoreLogic. They were called CoreLogic at the time. They're now called Cotality. And they had a thing called RP data that most real estate professionals in Australia knows what that means, depending on the state that they're in. But that's where most agents and even property valuers get their data, and it's as close to real time as possible what's happening in the market on percentages and sales and transactions and movements and price changes and agent changes, all that sort of stuff. So I can't disclose the exact exit number because there's usually confidentiality involved when you're dealing with a global giant like that. I'm pretty sure Cotality is listed on NASDAQ or one of the big exchanges, but it was a big acquisition, say that way. And it was 18 months. And I think it's fair to say that it was a lot more than we had spent investing in it. And it was very lucrative for everyone involved. I'll get to how I'm working with them again further in this discussion. So let me show you what I'm actually using every day right now. I use Claude to publish finished works. I love Claude's new 4.6 Sora, which is new now, but I really love the coworker function. Think of it like the smartest EA, PA, publisher, scientist, unlimited workhorse you've ever had, that when you give it instructions, it actually does them, and it does them better than you expected. And it doesn't give you all this crap back about it can't do it because of this reason or this limit. But what I recommend is prompting from Claude, copying the prompt into Coworker because they're clearly related and they know how they need to talk to each other, and then just paste the prompt into Coworker and get it done. And it's amazing. Now, if it's a really long prompt, the reason I use voice notes prior on my iPhone and copy the transcript in is because Claude still has a pretty shit way of capturing long form voice like this. You've got to speak about this slow to get it to be perfect, maybe a bit faster, maybe how I'm speaking now. But when I talk into my voice notes, I'll be like, what I really want you to do is go and do it. Like I can go flat out and it still gets that transcript. Now, Claude will give me a published outcome. It'll be brilliant. If I discern it and want to change it, it'll do it. ChatGPT, good for ideation. It's got a 10-minute voice note option. So I keep it on my home screen of my phone, even when it's locked on the lock screen. And I push on that. I go, hey, like later when I get home, I really want to do this. And I'll just go, blah, and I'll say it. And I can record up to 10 minutes of prompt like that. But ChatGPT seems to grab my prompt, tidy up all the bad dictation, get my words right, and it has a memory of what I've previously said. So if I've said something phonetically in my ochre Australian accent that sounds different than kind of the word that, you know, it would usually be said, ChatGPT seems to be able to get that right. I find with Claude, it gets it a bit wrong, but it doesn't get the outcome wrong that often. It just annoys me how slow I have to speak. My brain goes a lot faster than I can write for sure. And I'd say it goes a little bit faster than I can speak clearly. So that's just my reason for using voice notes. It's also really good if you're in a room and you've got lots of people around and you just want to have a big kind of brainstorm, grab the voice note transcript straight in. Okay, so that's what I'm doing there. ChatGPT does annoy me a bit because it seems to half forget things, even though it says, oh, it's got a memory now and it's all in the projects. But I just reckon it's a bit of bullshit. Everyone's saying that OpenAI is kind of losing the race. I don't reckon they're losing the race. I just reckon they've got different clientele that aren't consumers that are paying them a lot of money to use tokens. They need a lot of processing power. There's a lot of people tapping into OpenAI that aren't using it through ChatGPT. So I think even a pro user like me on $300 a month, I just still reckon I'm not a priority. Whereas with Claude, I get a feeling like they really want it to work for me. And I've got to say, it is. I'm so freaking impressed. Now, Perplexity AI. You may have heard me speak about this. You may have heard others to speak about this. And people have got opinions which is the best LLM. Well, it's different bullets for different guns. Perplexity is really great for understanding people quickly before you're about to have an interaction, before you're about to get something across. So I'm going to put this in real world context. If you're about to recruit someone, Perplexity AI. If you're about to have a really important meeting, like a negotiation or a presentation or a listing appointment, or even going to an organization and you name all the people in it, Perplexity AI. Now, even the free one's good. I've got the $50 a month one because that's about as many tokens as I need for it. I don't do heaps of client interactions, but I do help out the team from time to time, not just to get an outcome. I'm not there to save them. I'm there to coach them and help them use the operating system that we have. But I do like to, with consent from the client, get permission to record our conversations and bring the team member involved into it. And then I extract my IP from that, how I approached it, but then they can hear the tone in their voice and everything that goes with it. Now, when I come into it, I want to do the courtesy of having researched the prospect first or a recruitment or whatever that is. Now, Gamma AI, write this one down. Make sure it's the right one. Gamma AI is just so brilliant for punching shit out quickly. Think about like slideshows, explainer guides, stuff you'll have downloadable on your website, lead magnets, like free tools. I give out so much IP. The thing that stops me doing like heaps of many chats and stuff like that, where people are going to get my free tool afterwards, it takes me so freaking long to document what I want, send it to a human, even if they're using AI. By the time it's back, I've almost forgotten what it is, and I have to pull it out of my brain again, and that takes my personal tokens. That takes my personal energy. Gamma, I can explain it, and it delivers it back in impeccable standard freaking quick. Like I get it to 95%, send it to my internal graphic designer. They can just make it presence-ified or Nexa-ified or MK-ified or whatever-ified it needs to be. And it is out, baby. It's gone. So Gamma, I know there's others like this, but Gamma for me, 2 to 3 minutes, no shit. I would have spent $1,500 in labor and not even ranking my time at over $1,000 an hour. I would have spent so much freaking money trying to get a presentation done before that by the time it's back, I've almost forgotten about what I wanted from that prezzo, or it's gotten so late before I need to deliver it. I haven't had time to practice the delivery of it or like whatever, you know what I mean? So Gamma AI, yeah, must be. Now, Grok. Wow, so much to talk about here. You've probably seen recently that Elon Musk, like, he's got to be the man of our time. Say what you want about him. How many people do you know that's got 6 or more billion-dollar companies that he has largely done the majority of, not just taken over? Yeah, he took over X, but he's transformed that completely. Well, he took over Twitter and made it X. But he's going like where he was originally talking about when he had PayPal back in the day and he wanted a bank called X. Well, there it is. Single letter meaning so much stuff. Well, if you don't know the news yet, SpaceX has just acquired X AI. So now you've got X is now feeding. Of course, it was already feeding the AI platform, and that's where Grok is fed from. So that's like live intelligence globally, not mirroring back some shit that you might have seen on the internet 18 months ago or 6 months ago or some hallucination. People are talking about this right now. You can ask Grok what's going on right now, and they'll tell you, like, 1 minute, this happened in South America because, you know, here's the validated cross-reference sources. It's got so many personalities, and SpaceX is like 90% of the world's satellites. They are going to get our human race to Mars, which basically means we can extend human consciousness. And if you're not familiar, watch a documentary called, not a documentary, a channel called Kuskazat, or In a Nutshell in English, and find out there's an episode called When Will the Last Human Die? Now, they spend up to $2 million an episode researching it. Scientists that do this. When will the last human die? There's 3 scenarios. One of them is that we only stay on Earth and then, you know, we could blow ourselves up or get hit by a meteor or climate change or whatever. Second is that we go multiplanetary, which basically makes it nearly impossible for the human race and human consciousness to die. And the third is that we go like intergalactic and we go across different galaxies, or, you know, who even knows, we might even find another universe out there if there is such a thing. But like if we go interplanetary, like it's almost guaranteed human consciousness is going to go forever. Like it's very, very hard chance of us not to live forever. That's how Elon Musk thinks. He's got like so many kids out there. I don't even know how many it is. He's building more Elons. He's got companies going everywhere. And now SpaceX, which is like a juggernaut, literally launching juggernauts, satellites, internet, direct to mobile phones, even in the Bermuda Triangle. Like, it's fast. I use SpaceX at home in Melbourne when I'm at my studio. And so my guests at the Airbnb that are on site and my nanny and my family, they don't have to, you know, pull them. I don't have to pull on their Wi-Fi. They don't have to pull on mine. I've got like multiple Wi-Fis. I use SpaceX as my Wi-Fi for business. It's freaking fast. It's freaking reliable. Imagine that's your phone, not having to pay $60 a month for some shitty SIM and pay data overages every time you travel and having shit reception when you drive down a certain thing. And yeah, maybe there's some clouds. Maybe it's not perfect, but there'd be backups. Elon always thinks in terms of backups. So Grok, after that big rant, Grok challenges me. Now, I don't use Grok as much. I don't really need to as much, but fuck, you can have some good conversations with it. You can get it to be nasty to you. You can get it to be really, I don't want it to be pleasant to me. Fuck that. I've got enough people sucking up to me all the time. I think ChatGPT sucks up to me even when I tell it to be blunt. Claude's a little bit more down the line, but still on the happier end of AIs. But Grok, man, if you want to challenge an idea, if you want to look for the devil's advocate, if you want to look where someone's going to fuck you over, or where you're going to expose yourself as a fool, or where there's a hole in your business plan, I don't know any other AI that's going to do a better job of that, unless you prompt the shit out of it and put like really deep custom instructions in there on how to behave. But you know, I think it's useful to tell things how to behave and tell them who you are, but I reckon it should work that out pretty quick. Like the way you speak, the prompting that goes in, the shit that's available on you publicly. Make no mistake, we've all got shit available on us publicly. I think Grok, man, it's like, wow. But like I said, I don't use it as much. Now, Let me just talk about infographics because I do so much business modeling. I mean, I got my little presence. Shameless plug. That's my group of companies. We're scaling, by the way, to $100 million plus, 250 plus million enterprise value. I can see that clearer than ever. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's fucking clear. AI is helping us do that. And if you look at like my mind maps, not that they're easy to see, but I've done other stuff on this before. I just mind map the shit out of everything. I get it out of my brain. I use these tendrils and like, you know, this is just from one weekend. One presentation, it was 90 minutes. I've got like 15 pages of mind maps. I speak in terms of systems, operating systems. I'm not a real estate coach. I'm not a real estate trainer. I'm a fucker that transforms shit. I did it with Friendly Auctions. Most agents around Australia now provide a pest and building report when they sell a house. Guess what? I fucking made that system. I know there was like one other agency in Sydney that was doing it, Bresic Whitney. They had a downloadable report and you could see who, and I know Shannon really well. Don't know Ivan so well, but it's a great firm. They're going for number one in Sydney. Props to you guys. They had a downloadable report. I don't know if that report at the time was legally transferable. But heads up, I was doing that in 2007. I spent 2.5 years researching this shit. I'm not claiming I'm better than anyone. I did it because it was a choke point. It was stopping buyers bidding. It was fucking up their experience, spending money on shit. And it was helping vendors get a better result because there was more bidders that would bid transparently. And people say, oh, but what if it's a dummy report and someone's like done a really soft job? Yeah, you got to get them to sign the front page of it in a legal letter that the inspector will do the same report for the buyer as they would for the vendor. Transfer it for like $50. I'm not talking about making profit off the $50 and selling 1,000 reports. I'm talking a buyer's going to rely on this shit. Your professional indemnity insurance is up for it. More than 95% of the buyers in our agency, which is a leading agency, more property sold in Newcastle in the last decade than any other. Yeah, there might be 1 or 2 years when we got belted in the media that we had more sales against us, but that also goes to the team size and who you're willing to have on your team. That's not the point here. Friendly Auctions, whether they're called Friendly Auctions or not, agents all around Australia are doing that shit now. That's an operating system. I gave that to the industry for free. I wrote a book on it with Lee Woodward. I spoke at ARIC. Tom Panos booked me. John McGrath booked me. I got a keynote slot when everyone else was getting 15 minutes. Not to brag, it's because it's deep. It's a system. It's thought out. Get my book if you want to. I don't even know if you have to pay for it. You probably just get it through AI for free. I'm an operating system guy, so I need to explain shit. And one of the best ways of explaining shit is with infographics. Yes, infographics. Some people are visual. Some people are kinesthetic. Some people are auditory. Some people are what they call auditory digital. Like they need to hear it and then hear themselves talk about it. Whatever it is, I know shit's easier with pictures, especially when you speak at 1 billion words a minute like this. And I definitely speak this fast to AI. Don't worry about that. And this is where it really helps. Notebook LLM. You've probably heard this term, large language model. Notebook, it's yet another one of the Google AIs. Man, Google is probably, Google's winning the race in AI. Like they're just fucking bigger. They got more money. They've been developing stuff. They own infrastructure. Their video model is better. Their nano banana imagery is better. I don't need to create that much stuff. I've got graphic designers all around. I've got help everywhere with that stuff. We do use AI all the time. But I tell you what, Notebook LLM, I originally thought it was a bit gimmicky. Okay, but it's helpful. You know, I can get a written document. I hate reading shit because I start imagining the picture myself and I start talking in my head and it goes slower than I can. It's too slow, right? When I see infographics and I hear shit, I can look at the pictures, I can understand it, and I can hear shit at like 2x, 3x, no problem. Infographics help people understand stuff, but they take forever to create. You try and explain a business model to someone and get them to infographic it, you're going to go through someone documenting a system. You're going to go through someone who's going to then try and design it up, and it's going to take ages, regardless of whether it's high ticket AI, they're using it. Then it's going to come back to you. Then you got to discern it. And then you got to say, no, that's not what I meant. Fuck, the idea's gone, bro. If you get Notebook LLM, and you rip down a YouTube video or one of my deep long form pieces of content like this, do it, get this YouTube, add it into Notebook LLM, go in there and find the infographics section. And if you're not sure how to do it, just ask another AI how to do it. I don't like really talking to Gemini AI, which is Google's main LLM, because like I haven't even played around with it enough yet, but it just doesn't seem to remember the convo. It fucking cuts me off all the time. Like it just starts generating before I'm finished the prompt. Like I go to take a breath and it starts generating. I'm like, fuck, I haven't finished yet. I'm still giving you context. So I need to get a voice note from somewhere else and put it in, or get a prompt from somewhere else. And I'm sure there's ways to slow it down, but I'm not patient enough for that. I need to get this shit out of my head. But when it's out of my head using another prompt or using the transcript of a YouTube video, which Google owns YouTube, by the way, so they've got all the transcripts already. They don't need to worry about paying, about paywalls and all that stuff. You put it in there. They'll give you an infographic of this video about what I've been talking about. So just try this as an exercise. Go get this YouTube, put it in a notebook, LLM, find the infographic section and say, give me the key points of this. Give me the AIs that I need to use for different things and apply it to my business. Try this exercise. Like, try it. Save this part of the video. Whatever. Pause this part of the video. Share this with someone. I promise you, you'll be freaking blown away. Now, next thing, voice AI agents. People are aware I've got a voice AI agent going on. Now, I don't know how this is going to go. This is live. I literally just pulling this shit out of my pocket right now. It's called Oscar at the moment. Now, I'm on the customer advisory panel. I don't know. I'm always over-disclosing shit now because I got roasted in the fucking media in the past. And so full disclosure, over the top. I'll probably have investments in all these in the future. I would definitely invest in fucking Elon Musk. And probably in Google for that matter. The voice AI agent I'm building right now, I'm starting with leasing in property management because any tenant or any person who's trying to help someone rent, anyone who's rented before, they know they get treated like fucking cattle. I hate the way that tenants get treated in Australia. I don't think it's the property manager's fault. I don't think it's the leasing agent's fault. The system is broken. There's not a lot of money that goes around in property management. You think about it. Like you got, $700 a week rental. You're charging like 8%. And in Sydney or places like that, they might charge lower because they move faster and they're higher rents and they want to get access to the rent roll and sell shit later. Forget the actual fee. But if it's $700 and let's say it's 7%, that's $49 a week you're making. Now that's gross. That's not profit. Then you got like tens of people running around. You've got like 20 applications going in on properties. There's third parties everywhere. There's legislation. There's tenancy checks. There's people who speak different languages. There's people who can't make the open home. Like, you got an owner that needs it leased right now. Like, there's pressure everywhere, right? The system is freaking broken. It's like the taxi industry before Uber came along. I'm fixing that. But one of the ways to fix it is to make it more efficient. When you make shit more efficient, you can give better service. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, he's got to take our jobs. Man, reception is not a fucking career. Some people want to be. I've had people say comments to me like, oh, that's the front door to your business. If I heard an AI on the phone when I called you, I wouldn't fucking deal with you. Well, don't fucking deal with us. Go and deal with every other agency that doesn't even answer your fucking call. There's no money to resource 24/7, 5 receptionists on 1,000 properties under management with 150 inquiries coming in about shit that's on the fucking website. And you get domainrealestate.com, which do an incredible job of search. They don't give you links away from their site. They want you on their site. So you can't get everything from their site unless they've bought the company that does that thing, whether it's an application software or whatever. So a third-party company buys a third-party company has application software that integrates, and you end up in their software, and they want to monetize it just to fucking show you properties and answer your questions. It's ludicrous. So I've got an AI voice receptionist. I'm just about to set live. I've spent about 75 hours on it so far. I'm working directly with the developers. I have built shit around it. So when I say I'm building a voice AI agent, no, I'm not building everything. I'm not making the voice sound this way. So stop fucking typing your hate mail right now. I'm trying to help you guys. I don't care what industry you're in. Voice AI is going to be the front door to most businesses, not too long. Chatbots, if it's not voice, you might be able to speak and they chatbot back to you. Multilingual, 24/7, doesn't fucking take sickies because they've had a bender on the weekend. And it allows for career development. It allows for people to get out of that reception role where they're getting yelled at all the time, where they can't give the answers because they don't know the answers. I've got this thing that knows every fucking street in 5 local government areas. Think about how many, some of these local government areas have got like 100 suburbs. Think about how many streets are in your suburb. And they know the suburbs that are next to the suburbs. Now, I built that in. Yeah, I did that. I used fucking Claude to do that. I asked it right. Remember, I come from an engineering background. So stop fucking hating on this and just start listening to where it's going. There's people in your business right now that don't want to be receptionists. And there's people right now that want to speak to you that aren't speaking to you because your receptionist is overworked and they're getting yelled at and they're going to fucking resign. They don't feel fulfillment from their role. They want to ascend. They want to add value. So you've got to pay for the voice AI. You've got to train the voice AI. And you've still got to pay for your receptionist while you're going through this process. It's not going to be perfect, but who is on their first day of employment? So I'm going to call Oscar now. Hopefully this comes through on the audio. If not, I'll get it shopped in later. But I can tell you, this is legit.
Hi there, this is Oscar speaking, Presence Real Estate's AI assistant on a recorded line. Are you calling about a rental property, or would you like to leave a message for our team to get back to you?
Yeah, I'm calling about a rental property.
I'd be happy to help you with that. Can you please tell me which suburb or area you're interested in renting in?
Yeah, look, I'm after something in the Newcastle inner city. I don't know exactly which suburbs in there, somewhere in the Newcastle inner city. What have you got around there?
Newcastle City has a few suburbs that might fit what you're looking for. Let me see what we have. I have a few properties in the Newcastle area. One of them is in Cooks Hill, which is quite central. Another one is in Newcastle West, which is also close to the city centre. I also have some properties in the Hill and Bar Beach, which are both inner city suburbs. Would you like to hear more about any of these options?
Yeah, that sounds great. What's the one in the Hill? You got one in the Hill, you said.
The one in the Hill is a one-bedroom apartment. It has one bathroom and no car spaces. The weekly rent is $540. What would you like to know about it?
Yeah, when can I inspect that one?
The inspection details for the apartment in the Hill are not specified, but I can offer to send you a link to our rentals page where you can find more information and register your interest. Would you like that?
No, I'd like you to tell me about the one in Bar Beach instead. What have you got in Bar Beach?
I think you might mean Bar Beach. I have a property in Bar Beach. It's a 5-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms and 6 car spaces. The weekly rent is $1,850. What would you like to know about it?
Do you have inspection details on that one?
The inspection details for the house in Bar Beach are available by appointment only. Would you like me to send you a link to our rentals page so you can register your interest and arrange an inspection?
Yeah, I probably will on that. What about in Newcastle? Did you say you've got something in Newcastle or Newcastle West?
I have a property in Newcastle West. It's a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms and 1 car space. The weekly rent is $780. What would you like to know about it?
Okay, that sounds just like what I'm after. Is there inspection details published on that one yet?
The inspection details for the apartment in Newcastle West are available by appointment only. I can send you a link to our rentals page. You can find more information and register your interest. Would you like that?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Now, just being legit, that was live as fuck, right? Now, you can see I've got by appointment. That's legit. Like an $1,800 a week property you don't usually just run an open house on. And the other one could be just new online because last time I called it, which I've got a log of everything, there was nothing in Newcastle West. So that literally might not have an appointment published now. Now, just for the sake of trying to find one with an actual inspection, because I've just probably picked the 83 properties without one, I'm going to try again and see if I've got something else with an inspection. But it does send a link, by the way.
Hi there, this is Oscar speaking, Presence Real Estate's AI assistant on a recorded line. Are you calling about a rental property or would you like to leave a message for our team to get back to you?
Yes, I'm calling about a rental property.
I'd be happy to help you with that. Could you please tell me which suburb or area you're interested in renting in?
Yeah, do you have anything in like Eastern Lake Macquarie?
Lake Macquarie is a large region. Would you prefer the eastern side of the lake or the western side?
The eastern side, if you have anything.
Let me see what we have on the eastern side of Lake Macquarie. I have a property in Charlestown. Would you like to hear about it?
Yeah, sure.
The property in Charlestown is a 2-bedroom cottage with 1 bathroom and 1 car space, available for $570 per week. What would you like to know about it?
Do you have inspection details on that? When can I inspect it?
The inspection for the Charlestown property is scheduled for Wednesday, the 11th of February at 1:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. Would you like me to send you a link to our rentals page with more information on this property and how to register for the inspection?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Thank you, Oscar. Now, I am going to get from the back of that, oh, what do you know? I got an SMS with a link with, what's it say? And I can show this on screen later. Thank you for calling Presence Real Estate. Here's the link to our available properties. Goes through, like, there's probably 25 at a time, so it's not like you're not going to find it. It'll be like two pages of search results. You can browse properties, book inspections, or register your interest. We recommend downloading the Tenant app, which is a third-party app. I'm not endorsing that app. We just use it at the moment. I don't love the way it works. I'm not against it, but I just think the UX is a bit hard. And I don't like the way they're trying to monetize it just yet. We're getting to pay more. But look, that's another topic. Not bagging anyone out. Don't give me the shit for that Tenant app. To make a booking and apply easier. Everything you need is in the free version. I had to say that because like we were getting people saying, all right, you're telling me it's easy to register for inspection. We got this beautiful customer journey. No one else is fucking doing this that I'm aware of. Now, there probably are. I know there's other people using this AI because I cross-checked before I got involved. But I've got involved to the point, did you hear that, how it said, like, Eastern Lake Macquarie is a big area. What would you like? Inner city suburbs of Newcastle. How many receptionists can just answer that off the top? Answer the phone straight away. Like, answer the phone straight away. That's 24/7. We can cross into multiple languages. If someone gets the shits, we can hand them off to a human, or at least to wait for a human if a human's busy. We can record the whole thing. We can escalate when we hear the wrong kind of words. If they want sales instead, if they want projects instead, if they want to sell a property instead. Guys, 75 hours, right? Including researching who I'm going to use. So the company I'm working with is called Heffron AI, and the platform is called Voco, V-O-Q-O. I don't gatekeep this shit. Back in the day, you keep all that to yourself and make it your advantage. Why is that my advantage? I want to make sure that people are accessing this now. We are help legitimizing this. This is happening globally. We're so far behind the States on this. For my States brethren over there and sisters, well done on what you've done. Because when I went over to the National Association of Realtors a few years ago, I got to say, you're a long way behind us on skills back then for the people I met. Not saying all agents, but man, there's some bad shit going on. There's some taxi drivers selling properties and ironing ladies selling properties. Crazy. All right, let me get into a couple more products I'm using. GoList. This is co-founder of Rita. We're back at it again. I've invested in this. I'm on the roadmap panel or the customer advisory panel or whatever you want to call it. I've invested in this. I think this is good. This is for lead discernment. Their mantra is never let a good lead go to waste. They kind of basically plug into all the main CRMs, and they also plug into, like, I don't know how much of this is like fully out there right yet, so I better be a bit light on the detail. Basically, they make it very easy for you if you get a lead. Some CRMs don't even have a fucking leads in tray. They don't have a timer on it. They've got nothing that's going to remind you to get back to that lead. There's nothing to say that someone else got it. There's no transcription of the phone call. Agents don't even put shit in the CRMs, but they want to, but it takes too long, and they don't have a PA that wants to do data entry because they want to be on Instagram all day. GoList helps that stuff. It stops you wasting leads and helps you be better at customer service. And it shows you how long it's been since you've gotten back to that lead. And it reminds you that you said you'd get back to someone. And you can even remind it that when you're off the phone of your current appointment, it can call them for you. That is some good shit. And that's only part of what it does. But they made it very simple because especially real estate agents and people in like business development roles, they don't have time to go and figure out how a CRM works and deal with their clunky UI and UX. All right. Now, I'm also a bit involved with Rec Software, CRM. I'm getting a bit real estate here, but I'm on their AI advisory panel. They're doing some good shit with AI. It's kind of like lead scoring. I've got a HubSpot enterprise solution I've been building out that I've connected to our PropTech CRM because, like, PropTech's still got some limitations. They still have to build it for what everyone wants, right? And I want shit better than that. I'm obsessed with customer experience. It's our number one aspirational value in our business, CX obsessed. So, fuck, that was a really long section. I hope that you actually stayed with me for that. If you're in real estate, you probably did. Everyone else probably went to sleep. All right, okay. Look, I'm going to make a couple of key distinctions here, right? We've got a roadmap at Presence Real Estate. I just launched our ESOP last week, and we are legitimately going for 100 plus million turnover in our business. That's 10,000 property pie makers, which are our core customers. They're people who, like, you know, want to use us more than twice, who are active in property. They're often investors. Like, our purpose is making property pie, all right? Growing the pie bigger so we can all have a greater slice of success. Like, one of our business values, number 3, is makers, not takers. And basically means we create value and then we have a piece of the upside. It's like a shared upside rather than this bullshit of being a tax on everyone else's investments or their sales, just catching an inquiry that came from realestate.com and domain. They did a good job of finding that buyer, but that buyer was going to buy that house anyway. You got it exclusively listed. That doesn't mean shit. I want to create value, right? Same with property investment. We look at it through a wealth creation lens. I've transacted over $60 million in my own property. I always hold 15 to 20 million in property at any given time, right? That's some legit shit, right? So I know about property. I teach other people inside our business. I teach clients. I teach real estate agents. There's millions of dollars worth of gross commission income out in our marketplace that now competes with our business. Well, they think they compete. I see them as colleagues. Even if they left in a blaze of glory and caused a whole lot of shit on the way out, our industry is better from the teaching that they've received, whether they agree it or not. And look, there's a lot of people who do agree it. I did a little mini impromptu podcast with Jesse Wilton the other day. I launched a satellite with him. I sort of brought him up in real estate. I encouraged him to get into real estate. He read an article on me. I'm into that shit, right? So don't worry about that stuff. Why am I going to $100 million in turnover? I think that we can have, whether they're tenants, buyers, investors, we don't really call them landlords. It's a wealth creation thing. Whether it's concierge services, we've got a property concierge across all avatars. Buyers advocacy, yes, we're doing it. Yes, there was a whole heap of media blow up shit. I've been researching buyers advocacy since 2008. I went to the States straight after the GFC. I studied the shit out of it. Australia needed it. We were less than 1% buyers agents back then. Guess how much there is now? More than 5%. I fucking picked that. Henderson Advocacy is now one of the number ones in Australia. I co-founded that business with Jack. I'm not in it anymore. He's on private jets overseas and he's crushing it. Different dude to me, but he has a big vision as well, right? He's helping people create wealth. He's got a bigger brand than I have. Our purpose is a little bit different, right? The making property pie, taking everyday Australians, taking sophisticated investors, it doesn't matter. We help current and aspiring property investors to make better property decisions. We help them build confidence, build wealth, and ultimately live better lives through harnessing the power of real estate. Why can't everyone do that? I want everyone who works for us in our ESOP to have equity that's equivalent or better to a fucking property, an investment property that's getting yields. I want them to have those dividends to be able to invest themselves and help their colleagues and their communities. I want those communities to be more affluent and not have to sell their house due to financial pressure because they made bad decisions. I want those people to understand what Rich Dad, Poor Dad's about. I want people to be able to spend money at their local coffee shop and keep that barista in business and have a good place to go and hang out by the lake instead of another fucking for lease sign. That's my business. That's why I'm still here. I don't need to fucking work. I'm here for my purpose, right? And I've got to translate that to everyone. I always get emotional when I start thinking about this. So we're going to $100 million turnover. It's going to be 25 million EBIT, right? 25 million EBIT. I know about this shit. I know what venture capital wants. I know what private equity wants. I'm fucking in it. It's one of my many things. I'm not Elon Musk, but I'm in a lot of shit, but it's all part of the same ecosystem. Property technology, private equity, venture capital, education, training, friendly auctions, property pie, baby. So 25 million EBIT at an 8 to 10 multiplier, and I can fucking validate that with about 5 business transactions. I think we're going to get bought by a massive commercial enterprise, like a commercial multidisciplinary agency, like you saw Knight Frank just bought McGrath, but they're getting in on us earlier. We're not waiting till we're established when we've got all these different cultures, and well done, John. That was a great move, pulling it back off the public market where everyone's got a fucking opinion and everyone can run out and just talk shit about you and you've got to deal with the public scrutiny. You have changed real estate in Australia. John McGrath changed real estate in Australia for the better. Fuck the people who left him and stuck their finger up at him. And I don't even know who they are, right? But I know he's done more for them than most of them have done for him. And he's done a lot for me. I read his book early on and I mean it. So I'm doing the same thing and I'm getting it out there, right? Now, 8 to 10 multiplier is $200 to $250 million enterprise value. I've just figured out we're carving out 21% of our group right now to the people who have been here for the journey, who are coming in the next 3 years, the people who get recruited in these 3 years, the people who work for us, they're getting a piece of that. Just like Tony Heisch did with the Zappos story, sold to Amazon, they kept their identity, they stayed as Zappos. Fucking incredible story. If you don't know it, go and get the book. It's called Delivering Happiness, and go and get another book called The Great Game of Business by Jack Stack. That's fucking me in real estate. I'm Jack Stack and I am Tony Heisch and I'm a lot of other shit combined, right? And that's my job as a founder. I've got to let you guys know what we're doing. so that you can understand me. This is why I'm doing the personal brand shit. So you understand what the fuck I'm doing. I'm not just playing around here. I'm not just trying to fucking rip someone off or get a bigger commission. I'm not just trying to like flex my fucking cars. It's nothing to do with that. I've got a purpose. It's got to get better than it is now. We're fucking taxi drivers right now. We're smoking cigarettes. We've got pie fucking down our shirt. We're taking a $50 note off someone flashing it out the front of the pub when there's a couple on their anniversary dinner left on the fucking side of the road because the taxi drivers left us behind, and then they complained to the government, tried to get saved. Uber came because consumers wanted it. They found their way through the legislation. That's what's going to happen when we look after people and we improve the customer experience. You don't have to be getting paid by both sides on the same transaction. You got to remove friction. You make it better for buyers, it's fucking better for owners. You don't have to get paid by the buyer that way, but they can get a mortgage through us. That's not a conflict of interest. They're going to get one anyway. You can fucking help them on their journey. You can coach them completely independently from a transaction. You don't take a buyer side transaction if you're selling that property, but you're allowed to have a piece of the selling side. This shit goes on in every fucking industry and it's disclosed. That's where we are going. So at 200 to 250 enterprise value, you've got to get there fast. You need to document shit fast. That is why I use AI. I guarantee you I've already saved 5 to 10 million or made 5 to 10 million from using AI. I'm fucking just getting wound up, but I know I'm going to get it finished. I got a red hot studio manager today. This is good. I didn't even know how I was going to go at this solo, but man, I'm on a rant. I think I've been inspired by Danny Rants. Danny Rants been one of my fucking legendary guests. Fuck, Danny, I hope you're proud of me, man. I'm just doing what you do. I'm just riffing. I'm just telling yarns. But this is shit coming straight out of my subconscious. There's like 10 bullet points on my screen. Have a look at that. That's not a script. That's not a teleprompter. It's fucking what's going on. It's just bullet points. You got to talk about this next. So, look, I used to work with a system specialist, and I'm going to call her out as a positive thing. Shirley Dalton's her name. She served as a COO in my white label operating system called Nexar, which we're now vertically integrating into the Presence group of companies. My team are going to have access. Nexar helps us transplant our operating system into mature markets that we're not in. I don't want to go there and fucking build it and they will come. It's too late. Everyone will be fucking dead by then. If someone wants to do business the way we do it, we'll come in as Nexar. We'll give them the bits they want. We'll help them improve their tenant journey, their customer journey, put AI in their business, put sophisticated trading models where everyone can win without conflict, and grow the pie bigger. Stop your agents fucking bleeding out the back end. Your property managers being overworked and on stress leave all the time. Your fucking receptionists that don't like their job and they put their foot in the door and they never ascended, and now they're moving on to another receptionist in another company in a dying industry of receptionists. I can help that shit. Nexar helps us go in other businesses. We might even stay as their name. We might acquire them. We might merge. We might just do business for a currency exchange and an idea exchange and an IP exchange. But we're going to make shit better for consumers there. And if you go where the customers are, guys, you go where the customers are. You go where they want. Look what happened with Uber. Look what happened with Airbnb. It's harvesting wasted opportunity. That's what we're doing. Buyer inquiry has sellers, investors. It has mortgages. It has insurance. Buying inquiry needs service. There's more buyers than there is sellers. Absolutely there is. Everyone's either a buyer or a tenant at some point, even sellers, even property investors, right? That's what we're doing. Shirley Dalton helped me document my business. I started with her in 2011. I met her in like 06, 07 when she was vice president of my BNI chapter and I was president. She was Kip McGrath Education Center's chief operating officer. Lee Woodward's endorsed her. She's done amazing stuff, right? And she charges what she's worth, right? The rates are a couple $100 plus, but she's got leadership and all that stuff in it. A couple $100 plus an hour and worth every cent, right? But Shirley also used tools, right? And we would sit down for hours at a time. So let's say it's a couple $100 an hour plus whatever it is. Like, sorry, I'm not meaning to get your rates out there, Shirley, and it's probably different for different services. But let's just say it's in that zone, right? You have 1 hour on screen, there'd be at least an hour off screen documenting. And then she would have to hire an assistant as well. And she did such a good job of pulling IP out of my head. But look how fast I talk. Look how fast I talk. Even on a recorded interview. How the hell is she going to get this word count with all this context into a document? Then I've got to go and read back through with her. Now we've got to go and get it put into simple terms that a team can follow. Man, the amount of documentation we did that didn't get fucking opened when we started doing Nexar and opening satellites for other people, man, we help businesses grow from like $0 to like over $3 million. We helped document the shit out of their business. They didn't even open it. And then they complained that things were taking too long or the fee was too high. If they had done 10% of it, This is when I was working for other white labels and just helping people start businesses. Man, it didn't work. They're better off just going and getting another back-end provider that does admin and marketing like Manos and Maria Findakakis. They do a great job at Agents Agency. Shout out to you guys. You're not out there bad-mouthing the industry. You're not out there encouraging people to breach their contracts and steal IP and fucking breach the Privacy Act. You're out there to help people create a future for themselves. And I think that's admirable. You're bringing in other people that aren't even in your group. It's not a closed door. You got Black Soul as a conference. Good on you. Now back to Shirley, right? I would have invested with her, 100% worth it, more than $500,000 minimum on documenting our business, right? She uses it, I use it. She's in amazing leadership courses. Do her leadership course, by the way. It's definitely Leading Yourself and Others, I think it's called. I've done it twice. My team have done it. A lot of my team have done it. Even people who don't work for me anymore have done it. Helps you make better decisions. Helps you deal better as a human. The amount of shit that I can document now, I'll put 100 hours into just transcribing and documenting. That'll then get me to a series of documents that I can then put into Claude. And in another 10, 15 hours, I can put out 3 years of work. Then I can hand it to someone else. I can put it on Gamma AI. I can upload 300 pages into Gamma AI and spit out a 10-page PowerPoint of how I'm going to do an ESOP and have the team understand it. And I did not speak this fast. I spoke at this speed when I was speaking in the ESOP because it was able to break it down for me, right? But that's how fast I speak when I'm documenting, right? This is what AI can do for you. It gets shit out of your brain. It puts it there. Now, if you've got any purpose in life and you want to fucking turn it into a business, use AI. Now, what else am I using now? Because I'm supposed to be telling everyone. Lean marketing, right? They've got this thing called Lean Intelligence. I think they've even got a free model of this. I fucking love Alan Dibb, and not in a like bromance way. I suppose it's a bromance, you know, not in a sexual way. He's got an amazing CEO and a cloth. My guide is Gabrielle Balaskide. They're all overseas, except Alan's in Melbourne. He came to my podcast on Flow Zone, which this one is. It's just a solo. Man, they got so much stuff to help you document your marketing message, your one-page plan. And when you've done that one-page plan, you've now got to get it through everything. You use Lean Intelligence, it'll write LinkedIn posts for you. And a bit of Claude can help there as well. You use Lean Intelligence, it'll help you like put your ideal customer avatars out to your team so they know how to go and look for them and how to speak to them. So that stack right there, guys, that is going to fucking change your world. And if you're not in real estate, if you're still with me and you're not in real estate, maybe you're here just for the laughter of the rant, guys, just grab these tools and just say, how do I use this in my business? Now, I've told you about the real results. I've told you which enterprise value we're going for. I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of lessons. I was involved in voice AI agents early. I was worried about Privacy Act then. And it's just after that, we got smeared in the media for some fucking stupid shit. It was stupid now in reflection about what it was. We got totally cleared by the regulator, but it was hard. And it browned the consumer's opinion of us. We had a really strong reputation that, you know, what people say when you're not around. And it hurt, man. But fuck, failure is the way forward to success. It doesn't matter whether you did or didn't do the thing. I should have communicated better consumers what I was going on about. So this is me communicating it. I don't care if you think I'm a psycho. If you don't agree with this philosophy, you don't have to subscribe to it. But if you're a tenant or a buyer, if you're a seller or a landlord, and you don't think that this shit's better for you, don't use us. Fine. But if you hear this and it makes more sense to you now, maybe you'll understand why I tried to do this. I failed on early chatbots. I didn't really go too hard on them. They were overly pushy. And, you know, agents were all bitching internally about who's taking each other's lead when they were leaking out millions of dollars anyway. That's an issue. Now, LLMs backing the voice agents early on, they just weren't fast enough. They really didn't have the right token count. You couldn't do the shit that I've just done now with a voice agent. Now's the right time to build it in. The prompt I'm up to with all the breaks in the prompts, I always record the prompt that I've had in the system prompt. I get 500,000 characters in my system prompt. I'm at about 226,000. There's a 600 page document now with all the safety guardrails in there. I've got screenshots of every time something went wrong, so I can always go back, making one change at a time only. All right? Now, here's the key lesson on this. If you're going to do AI, don't replace something you're doing pretty average with something that's 1,000 times better. You've got to document it first. You've got to start with the big chunks of what you need to do, and you just go in and you just replace what you're currently doing with the same level of service and you watch it. Now, you can get a book called Humans Plus Machines. I recommend it for all of you, whether you're in real estate or not. Humans Plus Machines and I hope I'm doing the authors justice because it's a fucking great book. Trainers, explainers, and sustainers, right? So in that book, that's what we talk about. The trainers are training the AI on what you want it to do. If you've got a documented procedure, which I've just told you how to do, that's what you're training it to do, right? The explainers are explaining to everyone why we need this AI, what the objective of this AI is, and how you use the AI. And the sustainers are there to make sure it keeps doing the job it's supposed to do. You don't just set a voice AI receptionist and never listen to how the calls go. You don't set a voice AI receptionist and don't ask people to rate your service from now and then. You know, you've got to see how it goes, and you've got to make sure it doesn't go off the rails. Now, it's not just about safety. It's about brand damage. It's about customer journey. It's going to cost you more initially. But man, that thing I've built, it's less than $1,000 a month that I'm paying for that, right? A receptionist in Australia is like, with all the on-cost, payroll tax, superannuation, loading, sick days and all that, for 38 hours a week speaking one language only, you're talking 60, 80 grand in most places, right? And offshore, if you want to do it, it's still going to cost you like, you know, including doing it properly through a BPO or something like that, not getting hit with all the taxes and stuff like that. So you're going to be like a few thousand. They've always got someone overseeing them. And then after hours, they can't work. Now that person's got to get a better job. Like they're going to actually escalate in their career, even if they're offshore. So I think I've just said it. Don't try and get it to do 10 times more stuff than you are doing now. Get it to do the same stuff you are doing now, but 10 times better. I can tell you that voice AI receptionist, putting nothing against the people who've been handling the calls. People in the Philippines or people on my front desk can't know all the streets and all the suburbs and which ones are next to them in 5 local government areas. That's how big area we service. That is not in someone's brain just rattling around. Even in my brain, I can't tell you the streets of fucking Gorican or the streets of like, you know, every street of Maitland, even if I've lived there. So here's what I do if you're starting from scratch. Go to any large language model. Google Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, the list goes on. Perplexity, and just go and say, hey, I'm in this industry. I want to improve my awareness of AI. What can I learn? What can I do? What can I do to improve my daily life and make it better? Tell them about your role. Tell them about what you're scared of. Tell them about what you think you're shit at. Tell them about what you think you're good at. And just fucking get it to do the work. Like, that's all you need to do. It'll start teaching you what to do. You don't have to get it to go and do your job for you. Just teach you where to go next from wherever you're at. You can only improve from the spot you're in. You can't improve from some altruistic in the cloud thing, some standard that you don't already have. So here's the thing. Don't try and get it to replace something that you're already really shit at. You need to document what you're already doing. Maybe document what good or great would look like, but it's still doable in human terms. And then just go and get it to do somewhere in between of that. But you've got to stay with it. You've got to be like the trainer for the AI. You've got to train it to do at least what you were shit at. Do it while you've still got the employee in that role. Show the employee the path you're going on. Show them where they can go instead. You're not sacking them necessarily. You might if they haven't added value and they don't like the role, but you don't have to. You can keep them and help them ascend. And you can use AI to say, hey, I used to have this person doing reception. I want to keep them. I still want to be able to pay for them through ROI and gross margin improvement. What are the roles I could consider? Just punch it all in. It will help you. Say it out loud. You don't even have to be fast at typing. If you're serious about improving your life with AI, if you're serious about improving your business with AI, I'm telling you right now, if you are a founder, you need to be spending 10 plus hours a week just researching what's possible right now from where you're at. 10 hours. Just call it 2 hours a day. But guess what? You can do it at night. You can do it on the couch. And they're very entertaining. Go to YouTube. All right? I know short form's good. Go to YouTube. Right? And I just put in AI update because I want to know what's happening. I know what's going on in language models. I follow a few people on there. Don't worry about who you follow. You'll find who resonates with you. If you want to actually improve your business and like transform the way you're doing things, 10 hours a week. That's for a leader. That's for a founder. That's for someone who wants to be a leader or a founder or someone who just wants to be fucking elite or whatever they're doing. I promise you your competitors aren't doing it. A lot of people have downloaded one LLM and they've asked a few jokes and maybe they ask it a couple of things or to write an email. Man, you got to see what's possible. You got no idea what's possible. I've given you a grain of rice in like a universe of what's possible with AI. I don't even know what's possible. But I'm spending proper time watching this stuff on YouTube. I'm spending time trying stuff. I'm just pulling out anything. And my kids are aware of it. They're doing it. My wife's doing it. Everyone's giving it a go, right? From wherever you're at. Now, if you just want to be a leader in your field and outpace the others, if that's important to you, 5 to 10 hours a week's okay. If you've got some crazy job where you're a GP and you're working 18-hour days and you're barely seeing your family, if you're a real estate agent that's just crazy out of control, you got 50 assistants running around and you haven't really decided what you're going to do about that yet, 5 to 10 hours is okay. 1 hour a business day is fine. If you can get 2 hours, great. And if you want to like just barely keep up with the Joneses, you got to do 1 to 5 hours a week. If you're doing no time, if you're doing donuts right now about what AI can do for you, you're not watching this. You'll be one of those people saying, wearing a fucking tinfoil hat, talking about like the earth being flat. You're going to be talking about, they took our jobs, walking around with a fucking pitchfork. All right? It's improving lives. It's curing cancers, right? It's saving people from hunger and famine. It's giving people real career options. There's a chance we won't even be working in 20 years in this race. There's a chance our human race lifespan can get extended. And yeah, we could blow ourselves up. Yeah, it could come and kill us all and do a Terminator fucking Judgment Day. That's all possible, but it's always been fucking possible. Watch Kuska's on that. Humans have always thought they're in the end times. They've always thought it's the worst it's ever been. I'm telling you right now, it's the fucking best it's ever been. Get into this shit now. You've got a chance, all right? They called it on electricity. They called it on horse and cart turning into cars. They called it on the internet. They called it on social media. They've called it on iPhone. They've called it on everything. AI is the biggest transformation since electricity. Now is your chance. Now, if you want more of this shit for free, please follow this channel because a lot of people watch these. I just had 500, 600 views on one with Harry Moff recently, an amazing episode. Just subscribe to the channel. Second thing, share it with someone. Share it with someone. Say, look at this raving lunatic. Look at this person who's trying to give value out there for free. It's costing me money to be here. It's costing you fuck all. Maybe a bit of your time, right? Share this shit. And please, promise me, you'll do something with it. Go on YouTube and say, AI update, or AI for beginners, or AI for bloody mortgage broking, AI for hairdressing, AI for mechanics. I don't care. Just go and practice it. Guys, I promise you, this is worth it. I hope this has been enjoyable. Danny Rants, I hope I've done you some credibility. Pivotal Conversations, I hope you don't want to sack me as a client. This has been a solo episode. I was supposed to do 2 today, and fuck it, I got going. Enjoy. See you on the next Flow Zone episode. I'm Kentwell, and I hope this has been of value.